West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am back in the UK. The 1 week whirlwind visit to Antigua where I took in, commentated on, did some content, all of that for the West Indies versus England 2 ODIs. It's over. And you may have recognised, for those who are keen observers, that I've got different glasses on because people, let me show you something. One sec. Look at this, cuz. So I caught the plane. Can you see it? I caught the plane. Look at that. Sticky tape to rotted. So I caught the plane. Look at this, cuz. Look at these mash-up glasses, cuz. I caught the plane from VC to London on Saturday evening, right? Ran from the ground to make sure I boarded my flight on time to get to the UK. Anyways, obviously it was an evening flight. And at some point, you have to go to sleep in it because you're trying to get your body acclimatized. You're landing back in the UK, early morning hours, etc. At some point in that flight, I was into a mash-up seat. Bun Virgin Atlantic, you know. I remember the days when Virgin Atlantic used to be like the Don Dada of airlines. Bun that. You see, if a flight's over 7 hours, I need to take a different airline or I can't go in economy anymore. I was trying to hold a one sleep from Antigua to London. My neck was all mash up like this, mash up in the corner like this. Anyways, when I woke up, I looked at the time, and it was still an Antiguan time, and it was minutes after 1 or something. And I'm like, what's going on? I was like, I can't see. For those of you who don't know, I'm blind like a bat. Can't see nothing with my glasses. So I'm sitting there going, I can't see, cuz. What's going on? I'm grow, and remember, this is nighttime, so all the, if you take a night flight, they dim all the lights, so you can't see nothing, so everyone can hold a one sleep. So I'm feeling around the seats now, going, where's my glasses, cuz? I can't see nothing. And when I picked up the glasses to neck back, this is what happened. I felt the handle. I picked up the glasses, went, oh, there they are. Picked it up, and all I saw was this, cuz. I saw one half of the glasses like this. I looked at it and I was like, oh, what the hey. And then this was me in the plane. I'm putting on the one eye like this, and I'm going around like this looking for the next eye of my glasses on the plane. Listen, that flight was curtains. That flight was curtains for me. I had to go to the flight attendants. What, you thought this was a podcast about cricket? I had to go to the flight attendant, and we were at the back of the plane. We were at the back of the plane at like minutes after 1, and they're giving me they had no sellotape or anything like that. So they said, oh, we'll give you a plaster. And I'm there at the back of the plane with the flight attendants wrapping around plaster to fix my glasses. What a day. But we'll do anything for the West Indies. You see, that's where rallying will take you. I rallied so hard that I mashed up my glasses on the way home. But here we are now. I'm back in London, back in my room. First things first, before we just kind of recap that second ODI, just want to say big up to a few people. Big up all the comms people, all the team back in London, John Norman, Neil Manthorpe, Andrew McKenna, Scott Taylor. They all know who they are, the team back in London. Big up Cameron Ponsonby, real journalist out here. If you don't know about Cameron, people, go follow him. Real guy, like he's a real one. So big up Cameron as well. He's going to be following this whole series all across the Caribbean with England, obviously, and writing about England and the West Indies. He's writing for ESPN. He's doing stuff for talkSPORT. I want to say he's doing stuff for the Times as well. So you can find his work all over the place. Go support Cam, people. And then big up Mark Butcher. Like I say, was fortunate enough to commentate on both ODIs with him. The first one was a learning curve. Here's the thing about commentating as well, people, I didn't say in the last video. The thing about commentating, and this could be any sport, but I'm just talking about cricket, is you can't just pitch up and do it, right? You also have to build a bond and a vibe with the person that you're commentating with, because you have to know when they come in and when you can tell from their voice that they're about to finish their point and so on and so forth. So I thought the second game that Butch and I commentated, I think I upped my levels from the first game. I thought the second one I was really strong. people listen to that guy. Look at this guy, big and bossy. But on the genuine one, like after the second one, I was like, yeah, that was good. That was good. I thought I did really well in that second one. The first one was a bit up and down at times as I kind of got to grips with it. But the second one, I was happy with that one. So thank you to Butch for that. In the TV comms room, Bish, Nikhil, Carlos, Alex Jordan, Johnny Grave popped in from time to time. Big up everyone, man. Everyone was big up Hudson. Don't know if Hudson's listening to this, but Hudson helped get me around Antigua in the week I was there. Big up Hudson. Big up Dario and his dad for sorting out some things for me. So lots of people just want to thank him. You know, Antigua was a blast. Hope to come back very soon. And you know what? Sir Viv ground, I really like that ground. I get it. It's far away from the centre. But I really like that ground. I think it's a really good cricket. If you can be asked to do the journey, I think it's a really good cricket ground to just enjoy yourself. Yes, the cricket's going on, but just to enjoy yourself in general. I really like the vibes and the atmosphere, particularly on game 2, when more of the locals turned up. I actually think the locals outnumbered the English fans in the second game. Yes, it's Independence Week. Yes, it was a Saturday, but that was a very local heavy, the second game. And that the reason why that's important to say is because we've done videos in the past about where are the local fans, not just in Antigua, but across the Caribbean. But I saw lots of local fans in the ground for game number 2. So, and that came off the back of Cricket West Indies lowering the prices for the games in Antigua. Like I say, it was 20 EC to get into the game. I think that was the cheapest ticket to get in, and that's really cheap for a cricket match in Antigua. Similarly, in Barbados, I believe they've lowered the prices significantly for the games in Barbados as well. So if you're listening to this episode and you live in Barbados, check out the ticket prices for the games in Barbados because I believe they've been significantly lowered to encourage more local fans to turn up. Last I checked, I swear it was something like 20 US. Might even be some tickets, which I think in some of the other cheaper stands, it might even be cheaper than that. So check those prices out, people, because I know that Cricket West Indies have lowered them significantly for Barbados as well for the local fans. So anyways, people, the second ODI, obviously England won it. How much did they win by the end? Was it 5 wickets? I think they won by 5 wickets in the end, but more impressively, they won with 3 overs to spare. And the natural thing that West Indies supporters will do, having come out of that match, is go, how did West Indies not defend 328? That's a shocking defeat, much less England made it with 2.5 overs, 3 overs to spare. That's a really bad performance. I'm going to take a bit more of a nuanced take on it. Now, as I said to Butch on comms, if before you start a match, you are put into bat and you are told before the match, you're going to make 3-2-8. Every single team pretty much in world cricket takes that. Yes, okay, it turns out that Antigua was a bit of a road in that second ODI. It certainly wasn't the stodgy pitch that England encountered on Thursday. It was very flat and flattened out significantly across the day. It was hot on Saturday. When I say hot, I mean sweltering heat hot. I mean you step outside for about 10 minutes and you're sweating like mad. Like, it was seriously hot. So that would have helped flatten things out. But still, most teams in world cricket, if you said to them, you're going to make 3-2-8, even if you say that's the lower end of par, it's still par, right? In terms of, sorry, let me start again. 3-2-8 might be the lower end of a competitive score, but that still makes it a competitive score. At the halfway stage, and Darren Sammy said it in his post-match, you would have thought, we'll defend that, and should have been, even on a road, should have been enough to defend that. Yes, the pitch wasn't, there was no demons in the pitch, per se, as long as you were willing to kind of get yourself in and bed yourself in and play a long innings, right? And if you've got enough explosive power at the back end, you would have been all right. But let's look at the West Indies innings. Obviously, King and Lewis were out early inside about 2-3 overs. John Turner taking his maiden ODI wickets. Brandon King, that's now 11 ODI innings without a 50. That's not for me to criticise. I'm just stating some facts. So then Hope and Carty had to rebuild the innings. I think their partnership was like 140 odd of 160 odd or 170 odd balls, whatever it might be. Carty 71 from 77. And obviously Shai did what Shai does, his 17th ODI century. Can we stop for a minute? Let's just stop for a minute, salute and respect it. Shai told me when I interviewed him on the Wednesday that he doesn't really care for personal accolades if it's not helping West Indies win. And I hear that, and I respect what Shai's saying when he says that. But Shai doesn't have to care. But me as a West Indies fan who's been deep in this thing for the best part of 26 years, certainly, 26 years, I'd say, properly deep in this watching West Indies thing, he's the third highest run century maker in West Indies ODI cricket. Look at the two names above him. You've got the universe boss on 25 ODI centuries, and then you've got the Prince of Port of Spain, Lara, on 19. Hope is on 17. Fam, let's give this guy some flowers. And let's also understand that Hope has made his 17 ODI centuries in the worst era of West Indies ODI cricket. He's made it in an era of cricket when we rarely win, don't get to World Cups, get knocked out in World Cup qualifying, don't turn up at Champions trophies, and the man's still churning out centuries after centuries after centuries. If that don't tell you how weak the team has been historically around him, what else will? So we have to give the flowers to Shai. Yes, I know he wants the wins rather than the personal records, but for a West Indian batter in this era to be averaging 50 with 17 ODI centuries, we have to give the flowers upon the flowers. I know there's been discussions behind the scenes to get Shai back into Test cricket. I think it probably needs to happen sooner rather than later. So at least we can see if he can convert it into Test cricket. Let's give him a next try. When somebody drops out, Shai should be probably at the top of the list to come back in again, because you can't have a guy with 17 ODI centuries and you don't give him a try again. So anyways, big up Shai, give him his flowers. Shafane Rutherford, 450s in a row, followed up his 350s in Sri Lanka. With another 50 here, 50 odd from 37 balls. He will be frustrated at when and how he got out, because he was seeing the ball so well. And I think when he got out, he did that thing when a batter swishes the ground and admonishes themselves. And I think that's because he knew there were runs out there for me. There was a century out there for Rutherford if he hadn't gone for that. Oh, was it ill judged or poorly executed big shot, which got caught? There were runs out there for him, but I can't be mad at it. 450s in a row. He's doing his thing. He's doing his job. We have to respect that. Shimron then came in. This caused a bit of conversation and consternation in the Discord group. Shimron scored 24 of 10 balls, and there was a discussion going on in the Discord group afterwards saying Shimron, that was a poor innings by Shimron. And I'll hold my hands up and say that I said I didn't mind it. I said I thought Shimron did his job. Now, when I say, let me just clarify why I said I thought Shimron did his job. We don't know what instructions Shimron was given. I think Shimron was given instructions which basically said, go out there and carry on the momentum from Shafane Rutherford. Hope's already set. We done know already that Hope's going to go deep. He's going to make a century. You need to be the one to show the kind of initiative and big hitting momentum around Hope. Hope will do it at the back end, but right now he's making sure that there's wickets in hand. I think Shimron was given a license, is my belief. No one's confirmed it, but my belief is that Shimron was given a license to go out there and basically slug. I think he hit 3 sixes, maybe 1 4, and moved the scoreboard on quite quickly. Granted, he was only out there for 10 balls. The criticism others have is that given how cleanly Shimron was striking it, they were disappointed that he wasn't also rotating strike and that there was far more runs out there for Shimron beyond him just trying to hit sixes. I think did he hit Adil Rashid for back-to-back sixes and then hold out with one, right? And I hear the argument. I definitely hear the argument of those who are saying, nah, but he gave his hand away. There was still some more runs out there for Shimron. You can't just come out and just hit big shot, big shot, big shot. But we don't know if that's what he was told. My gut instinct is that he was told, go out there and get a move on. Don't build an innings, whack the ball. Remember, I watched Shimron in training on the Wednesday, and I remarked, I think I tweeted it at the time, and maybe I even remarked in one of the videos that This guy's hitting sixes clean. Remember, it was the previous video where I said this thing comes easy to Shimron, right? So I just wonder, looking back at that practice in particular and thinking, is this the role they want from him? If there isn't, if the innings doesn't require a rebuild, is Shimron's role, given he's coming at 6, to go out and play freely? Go out and get the scoreboard moving. Because even if you get out, there's someone coming up behind you who can either rebuild the innings or bat more conventionally or whatever, which would be Roston Chase. So I just wonder, we don't know. I'm intrigued to see what people say in the comments below, but we don't know what instructions Shimron was given. And therefore, I think it's harsh to say he didn't do his job, per se. Okay, so anyway, Shimron hit 24, and then at the back end, things slowed down. Now, this is where we can have some critique. I think Chase went at something like 22 off 22, and it was only in the final over when Matthew Ford teed off, I think he hit three consecutive sixes, that made sure that we got up to just shy of 330. Should we be critical of Chase's innings? It's not like Chase can't hit big, you know. Like, we've seen him do some significant CPL innings for St. Lucia Kings. So I found his innings a bit peculiar and overly, I wouldn't say scratchy, but there weren't really any big shots from Chase. Or was it that England bowled so well that he couldn't get any big shots away? It's not Chase's fault that he's coming at 7. Where else in the lineup could he bat? So then the question mark people would then have is, so why is Chase in the team? But it's because Chase is one of the more consistent bowlers. And we saw that later on in the piece. Chase offers you defensive, miserly bowling. And he's pretty consistent when it comes to that. So Chase, to me, is almost being picked as, I'm just trying to find the scorecard from yesterday. Chase, to me, is almost being picked as a bowling all-rounder who can actually bat, rather than a batting all-rounder who can bowl a bit. I just wonder, because remember, he was used in this game, he was used as a frontline bowler. He wasn't used as a sixth bowler, bits and pieces guy. He bowled his 10. He was the most economical bowler on show. 10 overs, 1 for 53. Everybody else who bowled their allocation was taken apart or close to their allocation, right? So anyways, when England came to bat now, signs looked ominous because Phil Salt was seeing it really nicely off the bat. And then he slowed down once he got to his 50. Will Jacks obviously went out early. England were 37 for 1. Jordan Cox was obscenely slow. Looked like he was trying to take time to bed himself in, maybe because he's inexperienced at the international level. It looked like he told himself, let me just anchor here. And when I've got my eye in, then I'll start teeing off. But the problem when you play like that is, if you get out whilst you're anchoring, your innings looks absolutely shocking. And it was shocking. Faced 19 balls, gone for 4. So when he fell, who got rid of him? Shamar Joseph. Although that was a good delivery from Shamar. I forgot about that one. That was a good delivery from Shamar. Cox was fending for his life. That weren't even a poor shot. He was just trying to save his head. So Cox had gone for 4, Jacks for 12, and then Bethel came in. Now Bethel looked good. I said to Cameron, I wasn't on comms at the time. I think I then said it to Butch when Butch came on comms. I said to Cameron when we were in between overs, and I said, Jacob Bethel, you can just tell that he's 21. He's learning his game right now in terms of at the international level. But you see, when this happens, he's going to go like that. He's going to go on like a Kevin Peterson thing where he just starts dismantling any bowler. Don't matter what your suit is, don't matter how strong you are. He's going to start doing one of them ones. You can just see it. You can see in Bethel that he's got all of that skill set that will mean that when the rise happens, it's going to be meteoric. So look out for that Jacob Bethel guy. He looks like the serious business. Anyways, he scored his maiden 50, 55 from 57, then gave it away, actually. I think he gifted Chase an innings, hold off to, was it long on? I think it was Jaden Seals at long on or something, or he hold out, I should say. Phil Salt, I think, gave away his hand as well. So when Salt and Bethel went, England were 160 for 4 at 27.6 overs. And at that point, I was like, okay, with that Bethel wicket, I was like, West Indies are just on top here. Because if they get one of Livingstone or Curran, even with Mousley coming, he's new in this thing as well. It's the inexperience level means that West Indies just need one more and they can close this game out. And then Livingstone and Curran, you've got to give them the props. They played the situation perfectly. As they should, they're the most experienced batters in the team. Curran, 52 from 52. By the time he went, the game was already won. But Liam Livingstone, you have to give him the props. Gave himself time, was happy to, but in the 30th to the 40th over, was nudging and nerdling it about. West Indies were going at like 4s and over, 3s and over, 5s and over. And it looked like West Indies had things under control. But clearly, what was actually happening, and Butch told me this is what would happen, he was like, Livingstone knows that when it gets to the back 10, provided the wickets are still intact, West Indies don't have any death bowling. Butch said that to me at about over 35. He said West Indies don't really have death bowlers, and we talked about it, and I said, boy, I was looking at the West Indies allocation. I was like, yeah, who's gonna bowl the last 5? And when I started deepening it, I was like, none of them actually are experienced in death bowling. So I took a bit of umbrage with they don't have any death bowlers. Some of them could turn out to be good in the death. Maybe Shamar Joseph will turn out to be good at the death at some point in his career. This, after all, this was his ODI debut. Maybe Matthew Ford will turn out to be good at the death at some point in his career, but he's only played 7 ODI matches. Maybe Jaden Seals will turn out to be good at the death at some point in his career, but he too has only played about 12 ODI matches. So let's not get this twisted, people. The narrative through this series so far has been, oh, England are really inexperienced. But West Indies are inexperienced as well with the ball. So Butch was right to say, boy, if Livingstone stays there, he might take apart the death bowling. I saw Darren Sammy's interview, and Sammy said that the last 7 overs... Did he say last 7? I swear that's what he said. He said the last 7 went for 100 runs. So they got absolutely dismantled. Absolutely dismantled. And you have to give Liam Livingstone the props. Any innings, on any track, anywhere, when you score 124 not out from 85 balls, come on. We have to give full props. He's maiden ODI ton. England captain when it looked like he weren't even going to be part of the team no more prior to that Australia series. Batting higher up because he says he should be batting higher up. And then he goes out and proves it. This is what I've always said about any cricketer in any team, anywhere in the world. If you get given an opportunity, seize it. That's what Liam Livingstone has done. He's England captain. He sees the opportunity. He says he should be batting higher. He sees the opportunity. Let's not look at, well, we can look at West Indies' death bowling and weakness or whatever, but Liam Livingstone played a magnificent innings, and he has to be given the props for that. So England tie up the series 1-1. What does that mean for the West Indies? We go to Barbados on Wednesday. That's when the last game is, with the series in the balance as to who will win, etc. England will be on a high, naturally. It'll be very, very interesting to see how Darren Sammy sets his side up. I would expect, because it's a series decider, that Alzari Joseph comes back. I don't know who for yet. You lot get in the comments below and let me know who you would take out. But Alzari Joseph definitely comes back for Barbados. I think Romario Shepherd should come in. Because here's the thing. We all cuss about Romario Shepherd's death bowling. But I would rather have had Romario Shepherd at the death than what I saw yesterday at the death. Because at least Romario knows what is required at the death. Yes, he may still get licked down, but at least he has experience of it and knows what you're supposed to do at the death. There were elements of the death bowling yesterday where you could just see that the players were just falling apart, that it was head loss, poor execution of the plan, maybe not even fully understanding how to execute the plan. At least Romario Shepherd knows what the plan's supposed to be and has shown in the past that he can do it. Yes, he's also shown us that he'll get absolutely destroyed, but he's shown us that he can do it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Romario Shepherd comes in, because also, of course, he adds the big hit in at the back end. So don't be surprised if you see Alzari. Don't be surprised if you see Romario. Because it's a series decider, I don't think we'll see Jewel Andrew. Who am I missing, people? Who am I missing? Who's the other player that I'm missing in this squad? Bear with me, people, because I can't remember who's the other West Indies player. Jewel Andrew, Romario Shepherd, Alzari Joseph. Who else isn't going to get... Hayden Walsh, she's not playing. Right. So I'm not expecting Hayden Walsh to play. I'm not expecting Jewel Andrews to play. It's a series decider. It's just not going to happen. But I do think, and there is an argument for, Alzarri Joseph will 100% play. I would bring in Romario Shepherd as well because of that death issue. But who drops out, people? Get at me in the comments below. Who would you drop out for Alzarri, who will definitely play? And who would you drop out for Romario Shepherd, who might not play, but who would you drop out for him? The other thing that I noticed as well about that West Indies performance, in the first game on Thursday, we got away with only really having 5 bowlers. And we didn't have to turn to Shafane Rutherford to bowl some overs. We shouldn't, this is my opinion, we shouldn't be putting ourselves in a situation where Shafane Rutherford is your make-up 6th bowler. I'm not saying Rutherford can't bowl, you know, but I just don't think he's a 6th bowler. Rutherford, to me, is like a 7th bowling option. The whole point for me of why Ruston Chase is in the team, I've always assumed that Ruston Chase initially was in the team because he is our 6th bowler, until I realised in that Thursday game, wait a minute, we've only got 5 bowlers. Chase has to bowl his allocation. And to be fair, Chase does his job well. But I think we always need... England bowled 9 bowlers, which was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There is no need for any international side to have 9 bowling options, because all that does, as Mark Butcher said to me, is it confuses things. You don't need to have 9 bowling options, right? West Indies do, however, need to have 6 bowling options. We just don't have the bowling depth and strike bowling depth or death bowling to get away with consistently only having 5 frontline bowlers. You need a 6th bowler who is somewhere between part-time and frontline, which is what Ruston Chase is. Shafane Rutherford isn't that. So I just wonder how West Indies will configure their side in light of not being able to defend 328. People get at me in the comments below, because I'm telling you now, Barbados isn't going to be a bowler team out for 250 or less pitch. I doubt it very much. I expect Kensington Oval to play as a 300+ pitch as well. So West Indies need to learn quickly from what happened in Antigua in terms of how they configure their side for that final game. We're very, very much, very far, and Darren Sammy's aware of this, from being anywhere near where we need to be. So all we can do is continue to play these games and look for little incremental signs of improvement. We saw that with Rutherford. We saw it with Evan Lewis the previous game, and some of the bowling in the previous game. We saw Matthew Ford's back-end hitting. Shai Hope, his 17th ODI century. Casey Carty continues his development. We've seen Ruston Chase not redefine, but give us a clearer definition of what his bowling role is in the side. So we have to look for these little pieces of incremental developments and work with it. Gudakesh Moti was uncharacteristically poor in that game, and England attacked him and took him apart. It is rare for that to happen to Gudakesh Moti, so we just strike that off as a bad day at the office for him. But we know what he does more often than not. So we'll see, people. Get me in the comments below, as usual. Obviously, Super 50, by the way, is going on as well at the time of recording. Tight game going on between Guyana Harp Eagles and Barbados. Looks like Guyana might take that game. And TT, Trinidad and Tobago, are playing the Leeward Islands at the moment as well. So look into Super 50 as well, people. There'll be some videos coming about Super 50 in terms of looking, say, like a story so far type video. Who's doing well? Were my pre-competition predictions correct, etc., etc.? Look out for that. But obviously, this video was primarily about West Indies versus England. Listen, people, I'll lock it off there. As ever, like the video, share, subscribe. All of that. And if you want to support the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, head to www.patreon.com/Carib Cricket. Any little bit helps and counts towards the growth of what we're trying to do. See you all very, very soon.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket.